What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Health Over Everything podcast, the number one podcast in health and fitness. I am Stephen Z.
And I am SoCal Gula. Today we're going to be talking about how to lose weight. Our number one most asked question. How do I do it? What do I do? How do I get like you, Stephen? How do I get a six pack? How do I lose weight when they see my belly, my what is it called, my pregnant belly photo,
Yeah, I can't
your
believe you're not
before and
pregnant
after
anymore.
picture, your before and after picture. They're like, wait, you had a belly and now you're skinny. How do you do it? Like,
It's Photoshop, obviously.
yeah, I photoshopped my belly off. Even if the videos are like that as well.
Uh,
But
I
yeah,
feel like
that's our
the
number one
weight
most
loss
common
thing,
question.
it's simple, but it's not easy.
Very simple, just like mostly anything. Simple but not easy. And
Yeah,
things to do life. That's what's good about it, though. It is simple. And some people,
very, very simple.
yeah. And then we're also gonna have at the end of this show, maybe I don't know, we'll throw it in there sometime. Yeah, we just kind of throw it in right now, I guess. Um, there's a
For
just
man.
I'm gonna throw this new segment in. We're just gonna talk about it for a few seconds before we get into the weight loss thing, and it's comment like the trending like things about health or current events. And we'll just throw it in there real quick so we get to the episode. But there was one from New York Post this week, and it said, exercise may actually make you age faster. You know, and that was kind of stupid. So I don't know. Did Big Pharma make that? You think? Did Big Pharma
Yeah,
sponsor them?
that's what I was thinking. I saw a lot of people in the comments like, brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to eat a double cheeseburger and sit on my couch all day. That's what I'm supposed to do. That will make me live a lot longer compared to exercise, which will age you 7 years faster or something, they said.
Yeah, how does that even work? Like, isn't having your body more optimal gonna be beneficial? It's like you're putting more of the good fuel into the machine.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's gonna function better.
And they're
So,
not talking really about the nutrition, I think. They're talking about the exercise. And then somebody even commented on it saying, well, if you do an excess amount of cardio, it can age you faster. Most people are you got to run a mile, bro. Like most people aren't doing marathon runs every day. There's some people that do marathon runs like once a
yeah,
week
we're
or
not talking
something.
about Goggins here.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, yeah, of course my knees are going to age faster if I'm doing a marathon amount of running every few days. Like that's obvious. But it's just so misleading and it gives people this like ammo to tell people that work out because a lot of people are unfit, a lot of people are fat.
It's okay to be
And
lazy.
yeah, no,
Fine.
I seen something. It says yeah, what you're doing is going to make you die faster. I'm going to live longer by not exercising. So what you're doing is bad. And that's what I don't like about it. But the media
Yeah,
hates
same
you.
here.
And if you still trust the media after 2020 and all that other stuff, there might be something wrong with you and then you might be a lost cause.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even watch the news, so I'm
Yeah.
straight.
But yeah, we're gonna have that new section, trending topics or current news in some of these podcasts. So going forward and maybe in the new year, we'll try to have it more a little structured or something. But right now, we'll just get back to the common um, the topic of the day, which is how do you lose weight? So, like you said, Stephen, right? It's pretty simple.
Yep, it is very simple. All you do is have to be in a calorie deficit. And really, it doesn't even matter. I know some people are afraid to have carbs. Like, I can't have carbs at all because they make
Yeah,
you fat. And some people think that actually having fat makes you fat. And both of
because of
those,
the name,
well,
right?
yeah, I guess it's
If I'm eating fats,
maybe a
that's gonna
little
make me fat,
logical.
right?
Yeah. But it makes sense if you could just get your mind into the framework of calories is basically all that matters. Of course, you could eat more healthy and it's going to probably be more beneficial for your body. But there's people who like the if it fits your macro diet. The joke with that is people were kind of eating a bunch of junk food and losing weight just to prove that you could have Pop Tarts all day if you want, as long as your calories are below a certain threshold, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah, the human is a science project. We are biology. It's science. Everything's pretty much science. If you are, if you have a certain amount of mass, fat or not, and you are expending 2,500 calories of energy per day, and you're
Mm-hmm.
only taking in 2,200, that body is needing to get that fuel source from something else. Usually, the food you're putting into your stomach the body uses that, they burn that food and uses it as the energy as you're expending through the day, as your heart beating, you're moving around, just your
Yeah.
blood flowing. It takes energy to do that. So that's the
Just staying
food.
alive.
So if you're only having 2,200 calories, but you're expending more than that, well, your body is now it already used up all the fuel that you put in, and it's looking for fuel somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it could either take it
Exactly.
from your muscle or it could take it from your fat. And that's how you lose weight. And you don't want to lose muscle because especially when you get older, as you get older, you need it. A lot of people fall and hurt themselves because they don't have enough muscle mass when they get older. And you lose it, as you grow older, you lose it, it's harder to maintain. So
Yep.
you want to make sure you are obviously keeping the muscle and losing the fat. And that's by eating more protein and stuff like that, right? Is that right? Eating more protein
Yeah, I know they say
muscle?
that, when you're losing weight, like you are going to lose a certain amount of muscle with it. It's just kind of how it works. You can't, if you have, I
So
don't want to
basically, you just got to work
I don't
out
want to
then.
break it down. Yeah, I don't want to break it down into like a 50-50. But if you gain, on a bulk, if you gain 30 pounds, it'd be lovely if you only lost 20% or 20 pounds of fat, but it might be 15 and 15. It might be something like that. But you can kind of negate that a little bit by doing your cut slower. So the faster that you try to burn the fat off of you, the more likely you are going to take off some muscle with it.
And then also too, you got to see where you're at. Like if you don't really have that muscle and you're severely overweight, which a lot of people are, it might not be that bad of an idea. You shouldn't probably be worrying about the muscle because it's very risky and very dangerous to have that excess amount of fat. So you should just be wondering about losing fat. So just get in a calorie deficit. But like as you get down and you get to a healthy weight, you don't want to be in that much of a calorie deficit and you want to work out to keep the muscle up. So a lot of people should probably think of just losing weight and then you could still work out and stuff too. That would definitely help. Obviously, like weightlifting, I'm talking about to keep your
Yeah,
muscles
help
like
maintain
melt
your
your
muscle.
muscles grow as you're losing fat, but you should try to lose the fat. And so how did you do it? Steven, how did you lose fat? Like, because you were pretty overweight, I was too, and we'll talk about how you lost fat and then how I lost fat. Because the
Yeah, I
ones
was
that
gonna add too.
asked me, break it down, tell me every little step. Break
Now,
it down so they can know
um,
how Steven Z lost his weight. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say too, a lot of the people who are really, really obese, I feel like they have good legs because they're, obviously you have to walk, and that is gonna build your muscles. Carrying that extra weight around is gonna be, I think, beneficial for your legs. It's gonna help grow your leg muscle. So when you do shed the fat, you're gonna have some nice wheels on you.
Oh wait, before we go, yeah, my boss, I'll throw that in there. He just lost 110 pounds. It was his birthday. He's 63 years old, so it's still
Nice.
no matter how old you are, you can do it. But yeah, he works construction, with me, so he's moving around all the time, and his
Hmm.
legs are really beefy, fat, like muscle,
Yeah,
because he had so much weight on him. He was like
exactly.
360 pounds.
Jesus.
Maybe it was more than that. And he lost 110 pounds on his birthday, he was telling us. So his
Nice.
legs were really big. But then again, I did see somebody else and we were on the job site and he looked so funny because just had a big old pregnant belly and then he had really twig legs. So I'm like, oh, this guy probably just sits down all day. Like while my
Yeah,
boss is
true.
moving around, working,
Why aren't you
all day,
working like
bending
your
over.
boss? Damn
So I
it.
don't know if he was probably just running a machine or something. But I was just
All
like
right.
telling the guy at work, I'm like, oh man, that's his knees must be messed up, like no muscles on his legs, and it just looks so funny because
Walking around like
from his
Bambi.
waist up, it's just
Oh.
really fat and bloated, and then his legs were really tiny, like little chicken legs. And but yeah, like what you're saying, like you're just carrying all that extra weight, and if you're moving around a lot, walking, you get those big beefy legs,
I feel
almost
like
bigger than people that work out their legs.
I think they did like I heard of a study or something that people like that. I don't know if it was sumo wrestlers specifically, but those guys are freaking super strong, even though they're big guys.
Yeah.
I think it was something to do with their bone density is
Mm.
greater than the average person because they have to walk around with all that weight. And I'm sure those guys lift weights because they're actually competing, but yeah, they're strong dudes. Like even though
That's
they're
kind of
big,
like the football players too, the offensive linemen and stuff. They're big
yeah,
dudes, like 300 some pounds, but they're running around. They have to practice, but a lot of them are a lot younger too. So, but it's crazy how big they are. But a lot of them, there's some of them that have big bellies, but they're still birdies. They're really strong, and they're out there running.
yeah, they're here to boom hit
But
your
they're
ass.
not the ones sprinting down the sidelines. They're doing just the line of scrimmage. They're running.
Yeah.
They're just basically pushing the other guy. They run a little bit, but they're not, super athletic. A lot of them are not.
They're almost like sumo wrestlers, right?
Yeah, they're
Just
just a big
big.
old body mass, right? Yeah, exactly. So
Uh,
yeah.
so for me and my little weight loss journey, I kind of had a couple goes at it.
Yeah, so let's start it out. You were fat, right? You were how weight fat were you?
The biggest I got was just shy of 250 pounds, and I'm 6 foot tall. So I was 248 to be exact. That my
248
head
pounds. And then
at
what's
my
the
head did.
first thing that you did? Like, okay, did you just like the first day you're just like, I'm gonna eat less? Or go ahead, what did you do like the first thing? Let's break it down in little steps here.
It's funny too. I feel like every time I've done like my fitness journey, like getting started is probably the hardest part because you always,
Mindset.
I would tell myself, all right, Monday, we're going to do the diet, we're going to go to the gym, or even maybe not even the gym, but just start working out. And then the Monday rolls around and you wait till after work and you're tired, you don't feel like it, you don't want to prep your food, and you just fall back into your old routine. So for me, the beginning part is always the hardest, like to get started. But once I build up momentum, it's
And
almost
that's
like
typical with
I get
everybody.
like unstoppable. And I don't like to give myself slack because I was even telling my fiance today, it's like you miss one workout, it makes the second, or missing the second workout, so much easier because you're like, well, I
Definitely.
already missed one. What's one more? And then it's like the weak link in your chain just starts to crumble away, and everything that you built starts to kind of go. That's how I am, at least. So I'm pretty hardcore right now. Like
Yes, you are.
my willpower to like resist the temptations of overeating or overindulging. And people always offer me food, here, have a piece of pie, and I'm like, like I was at a work a couple weeks ago where you know I go to a patient's house and take care of my patient there, and the family like made me a plate of food, and I kind of had a battle with myself. I'm like, should I eat it? And is it disrespectful if I don't? So I kind of thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm on my path, like doing this. I'm not gonna, I could probably guesstimate it if I really wanted to eat it. Um, and company policy, I'm not supposed to eat it. So,
Company policy.
but
Yeah, that's
I
typical
just,
about most people though. It's hard for them to start,
yeah,
That's why like
I,
New
I
Year's,
just,
everyone's gonna start because they got that new fresh motivation of the new year. And then
but
a
what
week or two
happens,
later, they're done because they missed that first
exactly.
workout and then they missed the second. But also like okay, I'm gonna stop eating bad, and then they eat
Yeah,
bad the first time, and then next thing you know, it's a lot easier to eat that second time bad.
yeah, exactly.
That's like typical. Most people struggle.
But yeah, that's kind of the hard part is, I kind of felt like when the mom like, oh, here, I made you a plate of food. It's like I had that little talk with myself, like, do you want to eat it and fall off your path and potentially kind of just gain weight? Like, even though it might have been minuscule, it's like for me,
Yeah,
it's about being consistent, and I don't want to mess with my consistency right now. Even though for Christmas, I'm gonna eat a little bit, and I kind of preparing myself mentally for that, so it's not a big shocker. But I had to figure out like how to. I just basically told the mom like straight up, like, I don't want to seem like I'm being disrespectful. I appreciate that you're offering me food, but I'm kind of, and I don't like to say like I'm doing a diet because I'm already pretty skinny. So most people that I talk to are trying to lose weight. So they're like,
yeah,
a diet? What the fuck are you talking about? A
yeah. No,
diet?
just live a
Like,
healthy lifestyle.
yeah. I was like, well, it's not a diet. I was like, I'm just eating a specific way right now, and I'm trying to actually gain weight, but I'm trying to do it in a controlled way. So I'm
You,
eating very specific right now. So
you
like, I
gotta tell them I'm
appreciate
living
it,
that whole life.
living that whole life.
I can't do that.
Um, I was like, I appreciate it, but I'm gonna have to decline. And she's like, oh, okay. So I've had to do that a couple of times, and I think that's going to be probably the hardest part of the battle. Like going to the gym is easy. You go in there for an hour, maybe 2 hours if you want to be crazy. But the diet, you can fuck up, 16 hours of the day, or wait, let's just say you sleep 8, 16 minus the 2 at the gym. You got, I can't even do math, 14 hours to fuck up your diet. And that's where your willpower and your discipline is going to kick in. Like you're going to have to strengthen your mind up here, or be so like in line with your goal that you're not going to slip up. Like I'm going to lose 20 pounds, whatever your goal is, and I'm getting there no matter what. I'm going to stick to the diet no matter what until I get there. and it's going to be all up to you. That's the kind of one of the things that I like about fitness is it's all up to you. You versus you. No one's stopping you. No one's making you do things. Like it's all on
Yeah.
you.
And like people say, like, okay, how do we lose weight? That's what everyone asks us. Like, I don't know, have people ask you that already? How do I lose weight? Because
Yeah,
they
they kind
asked
of
me
asked
a couple
me.
times, especially when I showed my before and after picture.
Yeah, I haven't gotten like how, but they kind of asked me like, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
like, a buddy that I went to nursing school with, he was asking
Are
me
you on
like,
a paleo diet?
what are you doing exactly? And kind of just asking me kind of for suggestions. I think one of his problems was he's like, I'm having a hard time getting a lot of protein. So I told him what I'm eating. And it's funny because I'm not ever really like, I never get to a point through the day where I'm like, oh man, I'm starving. Like, I need to eat right now. Like, I can't go on without eating. Like, I don't get like hunger pains like that.
It's okay to feel hungry. Like, try to feel hungry
I drink a
once in a
lot of
while.
water too. I think that helps.
Some people probably never felt hunger in their life. You know, Americans got it so good, especially the fat ones, just like, oh, I eat every 2 to 3 hours. Try to go 7 hours without eating one time. See how that
Yeah,
feels.
a little fast. So yeah, and then that is testing your willpower, your ability to say no.
Yeah. So, yeah, so like when they asked me, like I just told them, first thing I did obviously is stop drinking because once you start drinking, like it's really hard to like stay on your diet when you're drinking because the first thing you do is like when you lose your reasoning, like right, they say the
Yeah,
first thing to go is your reasoning.
first thing.
Is that what they say? The first thing you go is your choices and your decision making. So
Yeah.
that's hard. How are you gonna stay on a diet when the first thing goes is your decision making? So the first thing
And
you're
plus,
doing is
I
like, okay,
always
let's
when I
eat
used
some
to drink,
wings.
I
Huh?
would get the beer munchies.
Yeah, like let's go eat some
I don't know, is
food
that
out
a
when
thing?
you're
Like beer
and then you're
munchies?
hungover and you need some food to like help you. And then you're living a sedentary lifestyle and now you're laying down all day because you're hungover. So that's the first thing I did. I stopped drinking. And that's what you did too, basically, because you really didn't even on your last time you were on your health fitness journey, you
Yeah,
had
I
to
was
stop
drinking.
drinking in order to get down to where you need to be because you weren't losing the weight as much. So that's the first thing I did, and I also stopped smoking weed because what do they say? What happens when you smoke weed? You get the
Yeah,
munchies, right?
exactly.
So that's
Seems
another
it
thing I
tastes so
did.
much better
So
too.
it's like almost like you just have to live that whole life, which means health over everything life,
Yep.
and you have to get in that mindset of I'm going to live healthy. And once you start doing a little bit of it, like okay, I'm going to be on a diet. I'm going to stop eating. Like that's what most people think. I need to eat less and go to the gym, mainly eating less. And then, but they don't want to give up the alcohol and they don't want to give up the weed. And then they get back on it because you're getting
That
the
was my
munchies or
problem.
you get the decision making. So you just got to get the overall health life. And, if you do still want to drink, you got to do it not as much. You don't need to drink every day and stuff. And that's
Yeah.
like the first thing I did, what I did. And you did as well, pretty much. Like you were still smoking a little bit, but you realized like, hey, I need to, get the munchies away. And
Yeah.
the second thing, just it's like you said, it's pretty simple. Just eat less and work out, and that's how you're gonna get the body you need. Like, and a lot of people are like, could just go for a
Don't
walk. Just go
overcomplicate
for a
it.
walk.
It's so simple.
Just go for a walk. Some people like if you just like get a watch or something. Try to get your 10,000 steps in per day. Go walk
Yeah,
around the block
that'll
until
work.
you get 1,000 steps to start. Like, let me just get 1,000 steps walking around the block and not drink and smoke weed today because that's gonna make me hungry. And you got to figure out and then the next thing was just like trying to get your like habits, like you have to, the withdrawal symptoms were like my biggest hurdle in
Yeah.
starting, obviously like to stop smoking and drinking, you're gonna have withdrawal symptoms, but even
Mhm.
just like
We would talk about that too.
stop eating the sugar and stuff and the processed foods, your body is so used to it when you start losing weight that
Hmm.
it's gonna crave that shit like no other because
Yeah.
your body isn't, it's looking for survival at all times. Like your body thinks it's like different than how you're thinking. You have like a battle with your mind. Your mind's thinking, I need to go on a diet, I need to lose some weight, but your body thinking, I need survival. I'm getting 5,000 calories, 4,000 calories per day, how much ever you're eating.
Yeah.
And I need that tomorrow too. I need that the next day. And then once you severely restrict that to like 2,000 calories, 2,500 calories, it's like, what the heck is going on? Like, if we do this, we're not going to survive. We need to keep this calories in so I could pack on this fat so it could keep us alive just in case there's a dire future of trauma in the future. We don't have food because it doesn't
Yeah.
know that you have a supermarket and fast food restaurants on every corner. It thinks that you're in the wild and you're going to one time eventually there might be a drought. There might be some sort of natural disaster that ruins all the food, and then you might not have no food. That's what your body's thinking. It's from evolution. So
Yeah.
it's thinking that. So it's like
Survival.
thinking, I need this food, and it gets you withdrawal symptoms. And that's the hardest point, like to get over. And then so when I stopped the sugar, I had withdrawal symptoms so bad for 7 to 10 days. And I quit sugar and I started trying to get in a healthy lifestyle. And I got back on the fast food again and stuff. And then I went for another few
The
months, half a
ditch.
year. And then I had tried to do it again and I got the withdrawal symptoms again. So it took like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days. And I was just really anxious, really getting anxiety, like really pissed off mostly, just really
Yeah, you're all
everything
angry.
would annoy me. I wanted to kick things. Like I even told the guy at work, just stay away from me because I don't want to put my negativity on you because I'm trying to stop. But it's funny because it goes away. Then your body
Yeah.
adapts because your body's amazing at adapting, and it
Hmm.
adapts. Then now it's like, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. Maybe we don't have sugar, so then it adapts, and after like a week or two, it starts getting adapt to the new lifestyle, and now you're not craving the sugar. The withdrawal symptoms go away, and that's the hardest part in anyone starting, and that's your main hurdle that you're going to get through. And then after you do it, get over that withdrawal symptoms for the week or two, a week and a half, and you get to 3 weeks, now your body's starting to really feel like, okay, now this is the new lifestyle we're getting. It really adapts to it. And now you build up a new habit. Now you're starting to build new habits, but it still takes time. You got to really stick to it because, like Steven was saying, you eat that one bad meal, it could get to it. So, like, it could be the second bad meal and third bad meal. Maybe if you're doing it for like a year, or that's a long time, but maybe if you're doing it for 3, 4 months, you could have a bad meal because you're so used to the healthy lifestyle. But in the very
Yeah.
beginning, it has to be really strict. You have to be really strict on yourself and really not jump in back into it because it's very, very easy to get back into that old lifestyle of eating bad. And like that's some of the basically how I started losing weight. And after you get up through those hurdles, which is going to be hard, but you have to have really real determination, and you have to think about something more dire than not having the food. Like mine was, I'm going to die. I'm going to die of
Yeah.
high blood pressure. I'm going to die. My dad died of heart disease. I'm going to be like him. So it's like I went to the extreme of like thinking about I'm going to die, and I felt like I was going to die because my bad lifestyle accumulated over 39 years of
Yeah.
just bad eating. So I just felt so bad. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to die. Like, you have to get on a diet and lose weight or you will die. And I think that's what happened with my boss as well. He's 63. He
Oh.
went to the doctor. He's like, one day he's like, oh, I got to go to the doctor for a checkup. And then I was like, okay, a checkup's one time. And then the next Wednesday he went again. And then the next Wednesday he went again. So I'm like thinking, like, why is he going to the hospital and check up for 3 times? And like, they must be saying something's wrong with him. So
Yeah.
then he's like, I'm going on a diet. I'm losing, I have to get down to this weight. So something happened where they're saying basically like, and he told us like, I've been working my whole entire life. I want to make sure I enjoy some of my life. And I'm not, you never see fat old people, he said. So what did he do? Now he's on a diet, lost 110 pounds. So you have to think of something really
Nice. Good for him.
dire. Like you are going to die. Your life is, you're going to have a heart attack and be in a wheelchair because it's going to be a dire situation not eating good, like eating like you did.
Yeah.
It's going to be like getting rid of the fast food and the cupcakes and the bad stuff you're eating now. It's going to be horrible because it's beautiful. It tastes great. You love it. But you have to have something worse than that to shoot for, to actually get rid of it. And that's what
Yeah.
basically I was going to die. I knew it. I'm going to die like my dad at 66 or below, or maybe even sooner, maybe at 50, maybe at 45. I'm 40 now. So I had a change. And now that I'm lost weight and I feel good, I feel really good now. Now I'm thinking like, oh, I could live to any age now. I could live so long. Who knows? Like my body can take care of itself.
105.
It heals itself. Yeah. I feel more better now than much better now than I have in who knows how long.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
that's one main thing that you have to do when trying to get on your weight loss thing is think of what I just explained right there.
Yeah, exactly. You explained that pretty well too. For
Yeah.
me too, mine when I stopped drinking, I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I was just at like a point in my life where it's like I wanted to stop and I felt like I couldn't, but it was like losing weight. Like many people that I know that stop drinking, like the weight just comes off too because all the calories you're getting just from the alcohol, the late night binge eating, you're not doing that. Your sleep is more regulated. I was sleeping, going to bed early. I wasn't staying up to three, in the
Yes.
morning, drinking and feeling like shit, sleeping in all day next day, feeling like crap for the 3 days after that. So the weight loss was just like a byproduct of stopping the alcohol thing.
Yeah.
And, I had my own reasons for stopping. And then eventually I got to a point where I just wanted to be more healthy and be like kind of stick around on this planet for my son as long as I can. That was for me, that was like a big motivator. Like I don't want to be 60 years old, like I can't do anything because I'm out of shape, or so I just wanted to be more healthy, want to get fit, see if I could get a six pack again, maybe get in the best shape in my life in my 40s. Like why not?
Yep,
Like
that's what I want to do.
nothing stopping me. So I've gotten into a point now where I'm very disciplined. I feel like I have a good amount of willpower, but like, I'm human too.
Yeah.
Today I got my son some fries. I had a few of them. I'm like, three fries or whatever is not gonna kill you.
I had
It's,
Wingstop today,
yeah,
so
yeah, it's not gonna push my calories into like 1,000 calories and it's gonna fucking be crazy. So it's just
yeah.
something mild, like I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. So I'm consistent like 95% of the time. So that's another key is being consistent with it. Like you can't, eat good Monday through Friday and do whatever the hell you want on the weekend and expect yourself to lose weight. So be consistent with what you do as well.
And everyone has different motivations. Mine was like, hey, I'm gonna die. Like, and I don't want to die. Like, I want to live. And then I was like, I want to be in the best shape in my 40s as I ever been now. Since I don't, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this nice. I'm gonna do it great. And yours is kind of like the same thing. Yours is like, oh, I have a kid. I want to
Yeah.
live for him. My dad died. It's just overall health, and also like I want to be 60. And also one of your big motivators, you want to look good. Like, who doesn't want to look good?
Yeah,
Like, and
exactly.
you're kind of obsessive personality. You always say. So it's like now you got
Very
into it, and you're like,
obsessive.
hey, well, if I have a little, if I have a two pack, might as well get a six pack. If I get a six pack, might as well even get better and better. And it's kind of like once you start getting into it and losing the weight, you want to get even better. You want to even like, so that's even mine. Like I went from 230 pounds to like 180. I was 181 this morning. So
All
that's,
right.
almost 50 pounds there. And now I'm just like, it's accumulating in all areas of my life. Now, like you're saying, sleep. I think sleep is very important because that helps your body regenerate and helps you. I always talk about that, and it helps with weight loss as well. So getting great
Yeah.
sleep, stop getting stressed out as much. Try to as much as you can not to get stressed because people stress eat. So don't go stress eating because you could be doing great, and next thing you know, you have the most stressed out day at work. You're driving home in traffic. You're getting home really late and you're just like, oh, well, I'll just go eat McDonald's, and then there you go, you're back on it. And if you do get off, you're back on your bad diet. So if you do get off, you got to get back on it as soon as possible. Don't beat yourself up on it.
Yeah.
And but we all have different motivations. What I'm trying to say. So just try to find something that really motivates you in order to lose weight. And that was how I did it. I just got the motivation. I'm going to die, like I said. And
That's all
then
it takes. Nothing motivates you like some death.
yeah. So then second thing I did. So once I finally got that motivation, and first it was the mindset of like, hey, I'm gonna change. That's the first thing of everything. Then it was okay, stop the drinking and smoking, which took a long process over years to get from 2019 to 2023 to actually totally get off that stuff.
Hmm.
And that's when I really started getting my diet, started losing weight. I'm like, okay, and then I still felt bad though because I was still eating like fast food. I was trying to eat better choices. So I
Hmm.
was eating like Subway and stuff like that, thinking, oh, that Subway is good. But it was still, I felt bad. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, because I'm still eating processed food. It's still fast food. So like a big thing in my weight loss journey that really helped me continue to lose weight was making my food at home. Like making my food at home
Yeah.
was probably one of the biggest things and
Got to
doing
be
it
prepared.
consistently every day. What was that?
Said you got to be prepared. You're just more inclined to if you know if you have your food, it's already cooked. All you have to do is pop it in a
Oh
microwave.
yeah, if you're saying
You're
meal
gonna go
prepping.
to that. But if you have nothing there to eat, that's when you're like, oh well, let me go get the bag of cookies or let me go
Yes.
see what's available that I
And
could just
then
stuff in my face right now.
yeah, because sometimes you have such a long day, you don't want to come home and cook.
Hmm.
So then you're just like, oh man, I don't want to cook, so I'll just go get some bad food, and that's
Yep.
detrimental. So it's also good to have like a lot of good snacks at your house as well. Like I have apples, oranges, bananas, peanuts, um, pistachios, and I have some things like
Ooh,
dried raspberries,
pistachios.
blueberries, and even like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with good ingredients, not the ones full salt. But yeah, just anything at home. Like a lot of people do cook at home because it's cheaper, but a lot of people going out to eat, and that's really unhealthy. And that's the main thing that really started losing weight because I was at 230. I would get down to 210, sometimes even down to 200, and I would just fluctuate through. 210 or from 200 to like 218, 215. So I'd fluctuate through there because I would like try to lose weight and I'm like, okay. And then I would go and eat some fast food again. And I was eating at AM PM and fast food and Subway and stuff like that and Carl's
Right.
Jr. But once I started actually like, okay, I'm gonna try to cook food at home every single day, almost every day. I'll still go to Wingstop here and there. I'll still go eat like at a restaurant or something, like a nice
Mhm.
restaurant. But I'm like today, I went and cooked chicken, beans, broccoli, and what else was in there? Oh, chicken thighs and stuff. But yeah, so I put it in three different barrels because I made a lot of it for the next 3 days. So if anything happens, if I'm ever in a rush, I got that food to eat. Just warm it up real quick.
Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, cooking at
Yeah.
home
You
every
got it
single day
dialed
was
in.
huge for me. Like then I finally got down to the 180s. I couldn't believe it. I'm still trying to work on getting the 190s. So I still got work to do to like because sometimes I still will eat Wingstop. I ate it today, like, and that's what's preventing me to get down to the 170s. And it kind of annoys me because I'm still not on it like you are. But it's like, it's a battle. Like I'm telling you, it's a battle. It's going to be a battle for you out there listening, and it's a battle for me every single day. But cooking food, I cook at my food at home basically 90% of the time now, maybe 85, 90% of the time. And that's what really got me down to like past the 200s into the 180s. So that is a huge tip. And people make all kinds of excuses like, who's got time for that? Or I ain't, I don't know how to cook. Well, you better start fucking learning how to cook. You better find some fucking time for it because if not, just gonna stay fat. And then what's gonna happen? You're gonna have all the diseases and you're gonna die, right? Or you're not gonna
Yeah.
be able to play with your kid. So if
Yeah.
you're
More
asking me
likely to be unhealthy for
how did
sure.
you lose weight? I'm fucking telling you how I did it. So this is you got to cook at home. Cook the good shit. Don't put a bunch of cook good shit. Don't put a bunch of salt on it, and don't eat a bunch of sugar.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too expect like a miracle thing or like something secretive, like, oh, he's taking something, or they don't ever think like, oh, it's just hard work and dedication. That's all it really boils down
Yeah,
to. I remember when I did my first weight loss thing, like people would ask me a lot too, probably then more than now. Like, oh, what are you doing? Could you like train me, this, that, and the other thing? And basically, at that time, I really couldn't understand it. I'm like, you either want it or you don't. Like, which
yeah,
one is it? You're telling me you want to lose weight, but
totally.
then you don't want to do all the stuff that I'm telling you to do. Like, well, then don't do it and stay the way you are. Don't quit asking me for advice. And I didn't really understand like how easy it is. We all get caught in our patterns and our habits, and
Mhm.
that's part of the mental aspect of it, of getting your mind right. Is you're gonna have to break a lot of bad habits. Like if you have, especially there's a lot of like cultural things where you have certain foods that you eat, and they may not necessarily be the best for you if you're trying to lose weight. And I've seen a lot of people run into that where they do not want to switch up their diet. They don't want to start eating different things, like, and that's just gonna hurt you in the long run. You got to be willing to change. And I think another point that you made is like you got to find like a really good reason to do it. You can't kind of want it, because
Yeah,
when
no,
it gets hard, and it
it's too
will,
hard.
your willpower will be tested. You're gonna break. So if your reason for starting isn't strong enough and you don't have a strong enough desire, like you have to find something, because that's going to help you stick to the path when it gets hard. It's going to help you make those tough decisions when, like a lot of people use a wedding. Oh, I got to lose weight for the wedding. That's a big motivator
Yeah.
for people. Like, I
Yep.
got to be sexy for my wedding. And I've known a lot of people that lose weight for the wedding and then they
Yeah.
blow back up.
And you know
So
what I think about that is I think it's more of not wanting to lose weight is more fear of judgment. I'm going to a wedding. I'm going to have to
oh,
wear nice. Like
that could be
I don't
too.
want to be judged. I gotta lose weight. But that's not a long term goal.
Yeah. So that's why, yeah, a lot of people will blow back up after their
Yeah.
wedding. So figure
Well,
out
the
a way
wedding's
to
off, so now
make
no
it a
one's looking at me.
lifestyle.
I get fat again.
Yeah, that's why this time around too, because I've done it too. Like the very first time when I got a six pack, it was almost like that was my goal, to get a six pack. And then I was like, oh, I hit the goal. And then I got fat again. It's like
Hmm.
I didn't make it a lifestyle thing. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do with it now. Or basically what I'm doing with it now is making it just part of who I am and what I do.
Yeah, so
I,
true too,
I don't
because
even think about like going out to get if I did want ice cream, I would go get it. But I don't have a lot of those thoughts
there's a
that
Jack in a Box right down the street
taking
from your
me
house,
off my
Steven.
diet. Like, we went out the other day looking at Christmas lights, and my fiance, she wanted a milkshake, so we went, got a milkshake. I took a couple sips and like I'm good. I'm not gonna drink half of it, or because
Yeah.
usually by the end of the night too, my calories I'm topped off. I eat like at 6 and then I'm done for the day.
Mhm.
So I'm not eating after that point. I'll drink my water and that's it. That's my routine. That's what I do. So maybe that'll help too, just developing a routine and just sticking to it. That's all it is. Be
Yeah,
consistent.
definitely. Yeah, and then so yeah, after that, eating home at home, another thing I did to help lose weight or to lose weight was go to the gym and get consistent on that. A lot of it was with nutrition. That's where you're gonna get most of your fat loss. That like that's where you're gonna get the fat losses through the nutrition. But the gym is just like another thing, like we're saying, just it's the overall lifestyle. That's like the overall healthy lifestyle, that whole life. It's it's part of the whole thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna stop drinking, I'm gonna stop smoking, I'm gonna start eating good, and I'm gonna start going to the gym, start sleeping well. It's the overall picture. And it's once I started going to the gym consistently, that's when you start getting the physique you want too. Like you can
Yeah.
go run on the treadmill. Like I run on the treadmill today. I can't even look at it on my phone, but I think it was like whatever it was. You could lose 200 calories for running quite
Yeah.
a while. And then you could eat one Snickers, which isn't that hard,
Yeah.
and
Ruin it.
you'll have 250 calories right there. So like it could be 2 mile run and you don't even get the Snickers burnt off. So it's really hard. Your most of your gains of most of your weight loss will be in the kitchen. But the
Yeah.
gym is just like mentally, it gets you feeling good. It gets those endorphins. It gets you something also like not to think about eating bad. So if you're thinking about like, oh, I need to go to Jack in a Box, I need to go to McDonald's, let me go to the gym. So now you have somewhere else to go. So now you're thinking, now you work out and you might not want that food after that. But it
Yeah.
also helps with the physique as well. Like, but yeah, obviously getting that cardio helps out with the heart. It helps out your heart being strong. It helps your lungs be stronger. And then, like you were saying, once you also start building muscle, what does it do? It helps. You were saying the metabolism, right? So when you're
Yeah.
sleeping,
Helps.
you
Yeah. It
lose
helps burn
calories just by your
calories.
bodily functions. Whatever
Hmm.
your bodily is doing, it's functioning. So you're losing how many was it? Like 50 calories or something like that per night
I forget like
or
the
per
number.
hour?
I'm not sure about the numbers, but I just know that overall, the more muscle that you have, the more calories your body needs to maintain that muscle. So even while you're sleeping, your body's burning more calories than it would if you didn't have that muscle there. So if you love eating, you should work out because then you could eat more.
Yeah. So basically, when you're sleeping, let's just say your body burns 50 calories per hour. If you start
Mhm.
building muscle mass at the gym, it could start burning 70 calories per hour. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours, 20, that's 160, you get another 160 calories burnt off or something like that because you're just having muscle mass because your body needs more energy in order to feed those muscles. So that also helps you lose weight as well, just building more muscle mass. And just by eating good and working out, building the muscle and at the gym and losing the fat by eating well, now your body's working in symbiotically or whatever you call it. And boom, there you go. Now you're losing more weight even faster. So that's the next step I took, and that's what you do too. You work out all the time, and if you can't work out, you can't go drive to the gym. The gym is $25 for me. I buy the whole year. It's like $300. It's $25 a month. That's less than $1 a day. It's like 70 cents a day, 80 cents, 80, 90 cents a day. If you can't
Starbucks,
afford that,
what's
you
the
don't care
Starbucks
about your
drink?
health. Yeah. And you don't have to go all the time. Go once a week if you're so busy. But when you're at home, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, like um, run around the block. You could run around the block. It's free. It costs absolutely no money to go run outside. It might be raining that day. Well, do some push-ups in the house, like do some jumping jacks in the house. Like there's always something that you can do. Do some burpees
Yeah.
in the house, so
I think too, getting a gym membership doesn't work all the time because I know people who, and I've done it myself, buy a gym membership and then you don't go. But that could be a motivator. Like I'm spending all this money to go to a gym. Like I'm fucking gonna go. So I'm not just throwing my money in the trash. Um,
yeah, exactly.
but yeah, you're doing the gym routine. I just bought a couple of kettlebells. So I'm just working out at home. And that's something I've never done before. Like I've never done just like a strict kettlebell routine, but like I've seen a lot of guys that do it and they have nice physique. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like I don't gain
Yeah,
any muscle, which I don't think is gonna happen. So you could do it from home too. Get a couple of weights and
yeah,
just do it at home. Like there's really no excuse except, the ones you're gonna make for yourself.
And then like obviously like we got another thing that helps with weight loss that I did personally. This is what we're
Hmm.
talking about. Like people ask me, how do you lose weight? Been asked for it about it quite a few times. So we're sending in this podcast as the whole purpose. Yeah. And get an accountability partner. Steven's my accountability partner. Like I know for a fact, like you have somebody you can relate to. You could text them and be like, "Oh, look at what I'm eating today. You sent me what you're eating today, or look at what
Yeah.
workout I'm doing. Like look at my weight loss." So they're gonna pump you up. If you have an accountability partner and you're both doing it together, you guys could pump up each other and feed off that. And also, you don't want to let one down, especially if one person keeps doing it and the other person isn't, then you're going to feel like you're letting down. So you're going to want to do it. Like, oh man, he just lost 5 pounds. I only lost one. I need to go harder. So that really
Yeah,
helps a lot.
I'd feel bad too if for whatever reason I stopped working out and then I seen you stop too. I'm like, oh man, that's because of me. I fucking slacked off. Now Aaron thought it was
Yep.
okay to fucking do it too.
Yeah. See, so the accountability partner it only needs to be one person. So,
Yeah.
and like
It's
even our
nice
friend,
sending food pics to you too, because I know you're like, hell yeah, that looks healthy. Where most
other,
people probably don't give a shit. They're like, I'm over here eating a hamburger. I don't care about your fucking broccoli and
yeah, I
beans
seen your
and
food pic
potatoes.
today. All right. And I seen your food pic today. And I was like, first of all, I got hungry because I was like, man, that looks really good. And second of all, I thought like, man, that's really healthy too. Like, so
Yeah,
people
and
think
you're
eating
always
healthy
I'm
is
always seeing your pictures of your steak and I'm like, damn. I went to the Staters today. I'm like, I haven't had a steak in a while. So when I was going through the meat section, I'm like, I'm getting some fucking steak tonight. I'm doing this. And that shit was
yeah,
actually so good.
so
Like
tasty.
I haven't actually cooked steak for myself in probably years. I can't even
Wow.
remember the last time. Like usually I'll have steak, when I go out, maybe I'll get steak at a place, but I haven't actually cooked it for myself. And like I said, I can't even remember. And I'm like, this is so good. I'm like, this is why Aaron is having steak so much.
Treat
This shit is
yourself, fool.
this shit is bomb.
Oh man, I love it. I make that's another thing on the weight loss journey is like you want an accountability partner, but like you don't have to go tell everybody what you're eating because yes, I make steak like one of my staples of my diet and it's very healthy. Like a lot of people say the research, but who knows what this research is made out of? Because when you start telling people all this stuff that's not your accountability partner, people especially that are not losing weight, that are fatter than you, I mostly get these comments from. That's what's crazy. The people who are severely obese are the ones that are like, this is bad for you. You can't eat a banana. It has a lot of sugar in it. It's like, well, you're sucking down a fucking a milkshake. What are you talking about? You know, a banana has a lot of sugar in it. A banana is healthy. You don't know anything. The first thing about fitness. But
Yeah, I
anyhow,
remember when you told me that. I'm like, who the hell said that? I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Like they're
all right.
trying to almost
Yeah.
be like, apples are bad for you, bananas are the
Yeah.
devil.
And they always see that they have sugar in them. Yeah, but they have a lot of potassium and vitamin C and other things that counteract your metabolism. It actually helps lower your blood pressure and stuff like that.
Plus, that's fiber in there. It's gonna help you poop.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do you need fiber? You're gonna fart a lot. Like, well, your microbiome gets used to it after a while, and you might fart here and there, but
Yeah,
it's better for your digestive system. So there's a lot of things that they don't even know about. They just hear things, right? And they do the same thing with steak. It's like, well, it has a lot of saturated fat. Well, it's like, yeah, if you're eating like three a day, 7 days a week, if I eat one or two or three a week, and also I counteract balance it with a healthy diet. I eat purple potatoes, that's what we just got into. We eat
I like them.
beans and we like a lot of good stuff like apples. I eat a lot of broccoli, so
Yeah,
I'm eating a lot of good stuff that
same here.
counteracts that. And I exercise, like, oh, it's a steak's going to give you a heart attack. Well, that's what I do, cardio as well to get my heart nice and strong. So
Yeah.
it's like try to get rid of
Let
all
me
that
ask you.
negativity. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me ask you a question. If you were to try to put a percent on it, like how much of like your fitness and weight loss journey would you say is mental? Aside from like going to the gym and working out, doing your cardio, like how much of it is like a
I think in
mental?
the beginning, I don't know. I never thought that's a good question. So I don't know. I think a lot of it is mental because I don't know what percentage it was, 75% maybe.
Like a majority of it?
I think so because every day I'm having to think about it. Like I literally have to think about it every day. It's a good question. And I have to think about like, okay, I have to go to the gym. A lot of it, but it does, I think it might not be 75%. It might go down after a while because a lot of it I think becomes routine. Because I thought
Yeah.
about a lot. I need to go to the gym today. Now it's kind of like it's just like a thing. Like I didn't go to the gym 3 times this week, so I went 4 times, right? And those 3 times I went, did not go is because I was working super late and I wanted to get home. And like by the time I got home, I only had enough time to cook my dinner and go to sleep because I prioritize my sleep and my diet over the gym because
Okay.
those are important, more important to me than the
But
gym
you could
is.
still lose weight if you don't go to the gym, if
Yeah.
be in the deficit.
Yeah. But it's like most of the time, especially since the sun goes down, I don't like being out at dark. And that
Okay.
last year, when at this exact same time I lost weight. I was losing a lot of weight and I was getting stronger. And then the sun started going down earlier around 5 o'clock. It gets dark and I don't like going out after dark. So then I just stopped going to
Okay.
the gym. Like, and I said, this year I'm not doing that. I don't care if I get home at 6 o'clock at work, I'm still going over there. But I try to be home and like in bed by like 7:30 because I wake up early for work around 4:30 or 5. So I have to do that. So I have to get my food in and my sleep in. So the 3 times I just worked super late and I didn't have enough time. So my mentals are just thinking like, oh man, like I'm like kind of like in a routine. I should go, I should be going. And it was kind of annoying that I couldn't go because I just
Yeah.
wanted to go. So in the
Would you
beginning, I
ever
think it's
would you
more
ever
mental.
consider going to the gym before work?
I did think I was thinking of that this week for the first time, and I was trying to plan it all out.
Hmm.
And I would have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which would make me
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what I
go
was
to bed
thinking.
around
Probably like
8,
2:30.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. I would have to go to bed at least at 7 o'clock. So I'd have to be in bed, 15 minutes before that. So I'd be
Maybe
in bed
wake up
like at
at
6:45.
2:45.
Yeah. So I
Damn.
did think about
Yeah.
that. I was trying to do the math and I'm like, well, I could do it, but I have to be in bed at 7. And those 3 days this week, I've been getting home like at 6:30, almost 7 o'clock. So it's like I
Like you
wouldn't
got
even
to
be
bring
able
your
to.
dinner with you and eat it on the way home. Just come home, brush,
Yeah.
take a shower, go
So,
to
it could
sleep.
have been just failed a fail by thinking about it. Like that's why I think it's like a lot mental, like a majority of it's mental because now you got to start thinking about these things. Like, okay, if I work late, how am I going to get my dinner in order?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, on Sunday, I have to do it on Sunday. I have all day off Sunday. So I'll meal prep. And that's what I did it tonight, Saturday night, or today is Saturday night. So, I did it. I made three meals. So tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So just in case I work late, and then I'm thinking, so I kind of plan ahead in my because I work construction, I have different hours. Some days I work late, some days I don't.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking on Monday and Tuesday, I'll think like, okay, am I going to work late Wednesday if I or Tuesday? So maybe I have to make my food on Monday. So it's kind of like that's why I say it's mental, like 75% mental. So you really have to think about it. Like I said, 75% mental, and a lot of it is also too because I have to continuously think about not eating food or not eating bad. That's the hardest part, really, because you smell food. I'll DoorDash for extra money sometimes, and you're smelling that food, and I'm like, oh man, you want to eat. Or like sometimes you're
Sure,
out and
you
you're
see
not.
your like your coworkers eating too.
Yeah, oh, all the time. Like because I still take my coworkers to go get food, and I get like, and
Yeah,
I just smell it. And I'm
you're
like, why do you have
smelling
to
it.
eat that in front of me? Like these fast food, I told them like they chemically made to like smell it. Like McDonald's smells different than Jack in the Box smells different than Carl's Jr., but each one
Uh-huh.
has a distinct smell, and it brings back memories. Because I
Yeah.
heard your nose goes straight to your brain, so at all the other senses, like your hearing and your seeing it has to go through some I don't know the science behind it, but I heard something like this. Like it has to go through one process before it gets to your brain, but the nose just goes straight to your brain and it brings back. That's why
Ah,
when you smell, it's like money. It has a distinct smell on it. Everything.
yeah.
And if you go into somewhere and you smell something, like maybe a rose or something or a certain flower, and you remember it as a child, you instantly get that memory back because that's what so that's what happens with the food. You
That's
smell
oh,
it
that's
and you
that's
instantly
funny
get
that you
all those
said
good
that.
times of eating it.
You know the Elf on the Shelf?
Yeah.
So the one I did last night, actually, I just did him like sitting in front of the candle and I burnt a marshmallow. So it looked like he was freaking roasting marshmallows over the
Yeah.
candle. But when I burnt the marshmallow and I blew it out and I smelled it, I'm like, oh, that smells so good. Like a big part of me was like, I should eat this right
Uh,
now. But I didn't. But it's funny that you said that because like immediately my brain's just like it smells good. Eat it. Eat
yeah.
it.
And yeah, that's what it does. And like, so I have that. That's why a lot of it's mental, especially with the food. But it becomes habit as well. Like, like I don't want to feel like shit. And like, but I think more of the habit is the working out and the sleeping. Like, a sleeping pattern. You go to the gym. But the food, I think, is the most mental part of it. That was the hardest to lose weight for me
Hmm.
because the memories of it, like you smell Carl's Jr. and you think about all the great times and you had it eating Carl's Jr. and how good it tasted, and you just want it then. Yeah. And a lot
Yeah.
of it's like too, like if I'm driving home from work and you're in traffic and it's taking longer than it should, and You have to, oh, it usually takes 30 minutes, but now it's going to take an hour and a half. There's an accident on the freeway. You start getting hungry and you're just like, oh man, your stomach starts growling and you want to go home and eat. Like, I can't wait to go home and eat because now I'm going to have to cook the food as well and go maybe even go get the food. Like, if you have to go to the grocery store. So
Yeah.
then it's, you know, you're not going to eat for a while. So that's a mental battle. Then like this is what you have to deal with when losing weight. And I'm sure like anyone that's trying to lose weight knows about this struggle. The only people that don't are the people eating every 2 hours and don't give a fuck, about their weight.
Yeah. Have you ever tried when you get really hungry to just pound a bunch of water?
Yeah, I've tried that. I do that too. Sometimes that helps, but it also depends on the situation. If I could just drink a bunch of water and I don't have food around me, that's a lot different than if I'm hungry and someone's eating food right in front of me and I'm smelling it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm door dashing and I smell it. Because then I'm just like, oh, I'm super hungry and I'm smelling this really delicious bad food for me. And water is not gonna like I could try to drink water, but I don't know if it'll help. But a lot of that has to just
Have
come down to discipline and going back to like I was saying, your goals and like just the thought of like why you're doing it. What is your why? Do you like, and sometimes I will cave. Like I'm not perfect. Like I'm not as um disciplined as you are yet. I'm still trying to get there, but sometimes I think like, man, will I ever get there? Like is it even possible for me
You'll
now
get there
not to eat
eventually.
this, eat this bad food like Wingstop or something? So
Wingstop bomb.
yeah, but so sometimes it's like you do get off and like I will feel like shit. Like I'll eat the bad stuff again and I will feel like, oh man, I feel like I'll get an upset stomach or
Mhm.
I'll feel like a sugar rush or something if I eat something with sugar in it. And then I just think, and I'll think back to myself, remember, this is what happened. This is what you felt really bad when you start getting pre-diabetic and high blood pressure. Do you want that to happen again? You're gonna fucking feel like that again? No, and that's what. So it's kind of a good reminder. Like it's a good reminder, like being healthy, but you can only get that if you're being healthy and eating good for long periods of time. Once you
Yeah.
start eating good for a long time, months, and you eat something bad, you'll get that feeling because you could feel it. Your body's not used to that anymore. So then you're like, okay, I'm starting to get a sugar rush. Like, damn, I'm starting to feel like all anxious, starting to drink too much caffeine or something. Like you start feeling it, and then you get those thoughts again. Like, okay, I can't be doing this. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that's what helps too by being healthy, living the healthy lifestyle for a while.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say his name, but we have a mutual friend that had like a health issue with his stomach, and ever since then he changed his diet because I don't know if he told you, but he told me he was like that was like the worst pain that I've ever been in, and he's like, and
Oh yeah,
I'd never want to be in that kind of pain again. I'm not gonna say his name in case he doesn't want me to, but yeah, he's like, I
yeah,
never want to be in that kind of pain again. So from that day forth, just changed his diet up and been sticking to it. So it's kind of like you with your high blood pressure.
yeah,
You remember how bad you felt, and
yes, it's a memory.
by going down a certain path is going to take you right back to that area. So you know what you need to do to avoid it. But then again, that's where your mental power kind of kicks in.
Yeah,
Maybe
pain
a
is a
little
great
bit
teacher.
of the fear of the pain and fear of
Yeah, the
dying.
fear,
You know,
the fear
kind
is
of jogs your
fear.
memory a little bit.
Fear and pain are great teachers in life. So it's like sometimes that's why a lot of people don't do it until they feel the pain. Or like I had a friend that had a appendix problem, which isn't really, I don't think that's from a diet. That could just happen randomly.
Yeah.
But he had an appendix, went out, and then he was just like, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna change my whole life around. And he was a pretty big fat guy, and he didn't do it. Like as soon as he was out of the hospital and his side healed up, he went straight back into it. So it wasn't, because, but he was telling me, I'm going to change my life, and he didn't. So, why didn't he? I don't know. But
Easier
some
said
people
than
do, some people
done.
don't. Maybe he didn't think it was like, oh, this is just a one-time thing. High blood pressure could be a chronic condition that you have to live a healthy lifestyle. And if you don't, it can come back.
Yeah.
Appendix, it's out, it's healed, so I'm fine. So maybe he just had the wrong illness. So you just think like, oh well, that I'll just go on now. Like I still have good blood pressure and all this. I'm not having heart disease, but eventually you will, fool. Like I don't know if
Yeah.
he's saying fool, but
Yeah, sadly too, I feel like a lot of people, it's almost like you have to hit rock bottom or you have to get like a diagnosis from the doctor. It's like a lot of us wait till it gets to like the worst case scenario before you make the decision to change. And kind of,
yeah,
I had a thought about it, like, well, why even wait? Because like I knew where I was headed, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go down that path. So that
yeah,
was like enough of a motivator for me to like, all right, I'm gonna change things up and Like you're saying, it's hard. Of course, change is hard. You get used to your habits and your patterns and doing things a certain way. So when you disrupt that, it's going to be uncomfortable, at least for a little bit, until you start to do it enough to where that becomes comfortable. And then the old lifestyle will eventually be your uncomfortable zone because you're
Yeah.
just not that person anymore.
And then another point I want to say is like a lot of like heart disease is the number one killer in America. Like more men and women die of heart disease than anything. Like that is it's like most likely you're gonna die of heart disease. If you don't die
Yeah.
of something else, like that is the number one killer. And so
Hmm.
like pretty much every single person out there has known somebody that died of heart disease. I don't know if you have, but my dad died of heart disease. And
Yeah.
and people have
I knew
this
him,
thing,
so yeah.
and I see people like and hear people tell me things about weight loss, like saying like, well, I know a guy that, he was overweight and he lived to this long. It's like there's an exception and there's a rule.
Yeah.
Everyone's the rule. Like there's hardly anyone's exception. Everyone thinks that they are the exception. Like, oh, I could still live my lifestyle and I won't die of heart disease. Well, guess what? You're gonna die of heart disease if you don't fix your life. Like that is the number one common killer by far. It's like second is like cancer, third is like um medical malpractice. So
Oh, yeah.
most people die of heart disease, and and like they're and those
And
people
it's
that
preventable.
they usually have other problems with them, and it's usually from their diet not working out. They have other issues too, like just heart disease got them first. If it wasn't heart disease, that the diabetes would have got them, or the cancer would have got them, or something else from their lifestyle would have gotten. Everyone thinks they're the exception. So just think of that. Like think of the person that if you're out there that died of heart disease, and think about I am not the exception, and am I leading down that same road? And that could be a way to lose weight and get on your diet. And that's what I did. My dad died of it, so I was just like thinking like, he ate pretty bad. He wasn't severely obese. He had kind of like a normal stature, but he had a belly. But
Yeah.
the things you were putting into your body, like he's putting in bad foods, and that's another thing. Like you put healthier foods and try to do the research on that. We have a podcast in the back about that, about nutrition and stuff. But put healthier foods in your body. Don't smoke, don't drink, and think about the person that has heart disease and use that. They're saying like that's gonna be me. My dad died at
Yeah.
66. I'm gonna die at 66 or maybe even sooner, and I'm already feeling bad. So that's where I'm leading by this lifestyle. So that was my main motivator.
Right. Thing that got me thinking. My dad, he died from drinking too much, but he had a big old belly too. He had one of those like big bellies that was like hard, like almost
Yeah,
like rock hard. So I'm like, I
yeah,
wonder if the alcohol didn't get to him. Like maybe, his poor eating habits would have.
yeah. Most likely it would have.
That's
Like most
crazy. I
likely it
never
would have.
even considered that.
Yeah. And it's crazy too because I'm at the gym and I love seeing people that are fat at the gym because I know that they're working on it, and like it's like eventually maybe they're not going to look like that, but I don't see them there much that long, to sad but true. Like I'll see them here
Hmm.
and there and then I'll never see them again, but I'll see people like fatter people and they'll just be in the sauna mostly. Like they're not really doing like you should go be on the treadmill. Why are you in the sauna for? You know? But like they have these big fucking bellies and I'm just like, man, I just think in my head like wonder how much their heart is pumping like for like to get around all that, how much fat is around their organs, like, and it's sad to say, but they have big bellies and you see people all the time. You go to Walmart, go to Target, like just look. I heard somebody say, don't look at how many people are fat over there. Try to look for how many people are healthy and skinny and have good physiques over there. And just look in your head, like not that many people, or is there? There could be some.
Yeah.
It depends on where you're at and especially what areas you're at. Especially if you're in the ghetto, it's more because they have lower access to quality foods and stuff like that. And just
Hmm.
think like most of these people are going to die of heart disease or cancer or something like diabetes or something of that nature because of their diet. And then just
Yeah,
try to
like
use that as motivation.
you sent me that video of those two, I don't know if they were sisters, but it was like a nutritionist or someone talking to them and asking them like, well, how
Oh
much
yeah.
water do you drink a day? And she said none. And I'm like, how do you not drink any water? So she's like, well, what do you drink? And she's like, soda, Diet Coke, pretty much. And she asked her how much. It was like 10, 12 cans a
18
day.
or something. Yeah.
I'm like, how, like,
Like
first of all,
18 pack of
couldn't even
soda.
I couldn't comprehend, like, how do you not drink any water and you're just only drinking soda? And then obviously, then the two girls were like severely overweight, like obviously very unhealthy.
Yes.
And I just cannot wrap
400
my mind
pounds.
around that. Like, how are you not drinking water? Like,
Yeah, drink water. Like learn to like Danica Patrick told me this one thing I always have in my head. Learn to love drinking water. Like what's so hard about it?
love
People
it.
say I don't like water. Learn to love it. Make yourself love it. Change your mind. Say I love it now. Say every time I love it. Like same thing. My boss that lost 110 pounds. I've never seen him drink water. I haven't seen him too much.
Mm.
I haven't been working with him, but he never drinks water. All he
Mhm.
drinks is Diet Coke,
The hell?
Coke Zero.
You're out in the hot sun working your ass off. How you
Yeah,
not?
I've never seen him drink water. He drinks
That's
Coke Zero. That's
crazy.
it. I'm just thinking
Damn.
like that's all I drink is water. Like literally all I drink is water. So drink more water. That was definitely helpful on my weight loss. That's a good point you bring up there. And it helps hydrate your body. It helps all your other organs and your blood and everything else flow better inside your body. Your body craved it was meant to drink water. The only other thing it was meant to drink was your mother's milk. Other than that, your
Yeah.
body was meant to drink water and
Yeah.
maybe like juices inside of like fruits.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
you're
know,
meant to drink water. Drink fucking water, people. Gosh, makes me
another thing
mad.
I wanted to bring up is I've heard of other people like have a fear of going to the gym either because like people are judging them or because they're intimidated by all the equipment. They don't know what the equipment does. They don't know what to do. They don't know what kind of routine that they should be doing. So a lot of that stuff you could look up online. You could look up, and if you do go to the gym, the machines
Good
usually
point.
have like a diagram of what to
Yeah,
do. But even before then, you could find a routine. And if you do not know how to do those lifts, there's YouTube, there's the internet. You could look up anything. It's 2023. You really don't have an excuse. You can look up
yeah,
pretty much anything, figure out how to do it, figure out how to get your form good. So you're doing everything properly. You're not going to hurt yourself. Make sure you're targeting the muscles that you're trying to work and get prepared before you go in. And if you're still too scared to go to the gym, like go on Craigslist or OfferUp and look for someone selling their used weights and go that route until maybe you lose a little bit of weight and you feel more
yeah.
confident and you're like, all right, now I'm ready for the gym. But take some sort of action to change because like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it's gonna come down to you, and you got to have that drive within yourself to want to change yourself for the better.
Yeah, and just know like I'm pretty fit now, getting fitter, but I still have work to do. Steven's
Mm-hmm.
pretty fit.
Yeah,
No
we
one
both
like
do.
us is gonna make fun of you when you're in the
No.
gym. Like only douchebags do that. Like your loser friends that are probably like you if you're overweight or worse than you are the only ones that are going to be like knocking you. Like, oh, look at you're trying to wear this gym shirt and go to the
How long
gym
is
like
this gonna last?
your fat's hanging out, you know? Like if some people might even help you. They might like, hey man, this is how you do it. Like you can
I think
ask for
most
help, they'll
people
help
would.
you. Like, how do I use this? Someone that's fit, like doing better than you, is not gonna go over there and knock you down unless they're a douchebag or an asshole, which some people are, but most of them are not.
Yeah.
Like nobody I go to the gym all the time, it's packed. Nobody's in there, making fun of people and ridiculing them. Like, and if they like you see videos online, especially on Joey Swole and stuff, he'll
Yeah. Don't let
see
Joey
people
Soul crush you
videotaping
on
them
that shit.
and be like, look at this guy and put it on there. But we're starting to do gym culture, Joey Swole is, which is great, of calling out those people and getting them kicked out of their gym. Like they're starting to get kicked out of the gym if they do that.
Are
Recording
they?
people yeah, they're starting to, if they're
Nice.
overweight and you record them or anybody and you put them online making fun of them, Joey Swole's like, I talked to these people and they revoked their membership. So
Your ass is
we got to
canceled.
keep that
Oh,
up.
I didn't
Like,
know that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
they revoke their membership because you're not allowed to do that. It's against the rules. Like, so yeah, like we need to keep that going. Like us fit people that are going to the gym all the time. If you see somebody like that online, like call the gym to figure out what gym they are. And like, it's like, that's unacceptable because, I like to see people getting after it. I want to see somebody lose weight. I love transformation photos. Like I love seeing somebody like that guy, Dave on
Yeah,
Twitter.
I did too.
He lost a lot of weight. It's like, man, it's like he's happy. You can see he's happy and he's smiling more. He feels good. He's like,
Probably
he's
feels better
proud of
about himself.
himself.
Yeah.
And it's great. And that's why I'm in the gym. I'm like, oh man, like that's good. One time I was in the gym in the sauna, there's a overweight fella came in the sauna and there was another guy that was all fit and he was like a motivational guy. And he was talking to some
Hmm.
other guy in there. And after the fat guy left, he didn't say it to his face. He was like, I would have never trained that guy. Look at, he doesn't even take care of himself. Like he didn't trim his beard. He didn't comb his hair this morning. Look at what he's wearing. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, why are you talking shit on this guy when he left? Like he's in the gym trying to get after it. Like,
Yeah.
stop being such an asshole. Like, and you're supposed to be a positive motivational guy. Like, I understand what he was saying. Like, he's probably not going to train that guy because he's probably not going to be back, which a lot of people do fall off. But maybe it's because of comments like that. People have that stigma, especially overweight people and stuff
Yeah.
in the
Kind of
gym. But I
remind
like
me
seeing
of
people
that,
get after it.
reminded me of that quote, like how you do, was it how you do anything is how you do everything.
How you do one
So it's
thing
like
is how you do everything.
if you're lazy with one aspect of your life, like it's gonna leak into other areas.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. And then like who's that guy? Ed Milet. I think I heard him say like when you look at someone and you see that they're physically fit, like that's a well, I don't think it was him. It was some other guy, but it was one of those like kind of influencer guys that clearly like worked out. And he's like, if I see you and you're fit, like you're automatically kind of like someone that I could do business with because it tells me that you're disciplined, you're motivated, you have delayed gratification, like all these good traits that you need to have.
Yeah.
And by working out and pushing yourself, you kind of force those kind of characteristics to come out of you. Like you could build a better version of yourself by getting into the gym, working out and all that stuff is going to make you feel better. It's going to make you look better,
Mhm.
but it's going to build these characters that I think that you can only get by doing hard shit. Like you're not going to get them by sitting on the couch playing video games and, watching movies. Like it's
Yeah.
just not going to happen. So
Yeah, like I think that was Andy Frisella that said that. And
it could have been.
he has a 75 hard, which is hard. I never done it.
I haven't
And
tried it
because you have
either.
to do two 45-minute workouts, one outside and one inside. And I never kind of understood, like, is 45-minute workout my job? Like, because I'm literally outside and I'm like working, but who knows? But that's the one aspect I
Probably
didn't do.
not. I don't
You
think he
gotta
would count it.
you got to do two workouts. I would rather just do one workout for an hour and a half, which he said you can't
Yeah.
do, and you had to do one outside. But that's a program. But that's another way I lost weight too. Like, that's another thing. Like, I started changing my mindset by listening to these guys, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, and they're mean. They yell at you. They'll cuss at you. But sometimes that's what you need. Like,
Tough
you
love.
can't
Tough
be
love.
around people that are soft all the time, that are giving you every little compliment and everything you want. You need to have some realness in your life. You need to say to somebody, hey, motherfucker, you're fat, but I love you, and I want you to fucking lose weight, and I want you to be around a long time. So let's get after it. Let's go. You can do it. Like, you can do this. And if
Yeah.
you're listening to this, you're already listening to this podcast, and you made it this far, you're definitely, you're getting after it, and you're changing your mindset if you made it this far into the podcast, and you could do it. Like, there's no doubt. If you listen to this far in the podcast, you could do it. So get it done, because I have 100% belief in you, especially if you're this far. And it's because that's what it first takes: listening to people, trying to learn, and then getting after it. You got to put that in it. You got to put it into action.
Yeah. And then I like the fact that you bring up the 75 hard. That's another thing you could do is just finding a routine or a program like that you could try to adhere to challenge yourself. Like a lot of people have them. 75 hard is maybe a more extreme one, but find one that suits your physical level
Yeah.
and something that's fun for you. Like find a fitness influencer that you like that has a program and just do that. It's something that makes sticking to it a little bit easier because you like the person or you enjoy the program. Like that could be a key to kind of help keeping you going, get you started, being consistent, and just changing your
We need a
lifestyle
program.
overall.
We need a program now.
We're gonna make one now.
Yeah. Especially, like, sometimes, like you're saying, like, I like how you say challenge yourself on something. Some people are so overweight, like, if you're listening to, like, you could send it to somebody, maybe help them, but that just challenging themselves would be walking around the block 5 days a week, because they never do it. Like, I literally just sit down on my couch 24/7, because I had a family, an aunt like that passed away. She was overweight her whole life. She never got off the couch. She's sitting there pounding, like those two fat girls that we're talking about earlier, that
Mhm.
drink 18 pack of soda. It's kind of like how she was. She's like 400 pounds, just sat on the couch all day, drinking soda. So it would just be a challenge, someone like that, because everyone's in a different fitness level. So it's every different for
Yeah.
everybody. But somebody that's like that could just be like, hey, my challenge is to drink one soda a day, or maybe even two, and walk around the block all day,
That would
every
be a
day. And
challenge
that
to
will
those
be
girls.
extremely beneficial to somebody like that's at 400 pounds. Extremely. You would lose 20 pounds because of that, because just
Mhm.
what you're not doing. Like, you have to sometimes think about, what do I need to get rid of, or what do I not need to not do in order to lose weight? And sometimes it could just be challenge yourself like that. Let me walk around the block 5 days a week. Let me just drink from 18 sodas to, or even if you're drinking 12 sodas, to half that. Drink half of the sodas you're drinking. Just one simple thing. You can still eat the same amount of food. You could do everything you're doing. just do that at first. And that can be, for if you're extremely overweight, that could be very beneficial. But then again, if you're just like 30 pounds or 50 pounds overweight and you can still move around and you're already moving around mostly, then you could do the more harder things like let me get into a fitness program where with an influencer where like I could really challenge myself. Or it could be like, hey, let me run, 7 to 10 miles per week or something like that. Let me do, an hour of cardio 4 days a week or something. So just different levels and different challenges.
Yeah, I see. I feel like a lot of people get like a inspiration doing like a what is it? The CrossFit. I see a lot of people do the CrossFit thing. They kind of have like a bonding or a brotherhood. You got X amount of people that are in the gym. We're all doing the same workout. We're all doing the same thing. So it kind of helps make it fun by kind of challenging yourself, but also like, man, I remember when I started, this guy was beating me, but now I'm beating his numbers. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that can motivate
Yep.
you just doing shit with other people. So
Yeah.
don't think
Group
that you
classes.
have to do it alone too.
Yeah. Group
Aside
classes
from
are awesome.
having, yeah, aside from having like an accountability partner, you can have a workout partner,
Yeah.
do
People you don't even know.
a cycling class or a yoga class, and build some friendships over there, and then
Yeah. And
go
I go to
head on.
24 Hour Fitness. They have free ones. Like I went to a
Oh,
spin class
nice.
one time. You just go on the app and boom, they'll show all the different, show all the different things. Or they'll have like a karate one where people are just punching and kicking. They'll have one with a spin class, and it's everyone goes in there and they just ride that bike for 30 minutes. They'll have yoga ones, those ones pretty much
Yeah.
get sold out real quick, like filled up. But yeah, those classes are great for like morale and stuff like that to help you get going and get that enthusiasm. Gives you
And
something to
then
do
it
and you meet friends.
takes all the guesswork out of it too, because you have someone there telling you what to do, when to increase the intensity, when to back off, like, and you might not be able to keep up, but I don't think they're going to be bad. Hey, you in the back, why are you slowing down? No, they're
Yeah.
going to realize that everyone has their own pace,
Yep.
but the goal is to try to keep up with the instructor, and that could be a good way too, just to
Yeah.
get out of your comfort zone, and you don't have to learn anything. You're just doing everything this person says, and it'll make it easier for you.
Yeah, and I know a couple of people that go on like special gyms. Like it's not like a 24-hour fitness, and it is
Mhm.
like more group oriented. So it's like,
Okay.
they'll always be taking like a picture. Like mine, like no one really 24-hour fitness, nobody really, does group things like outside of the group classes.
Uh-huh.
But these other ones, I'll see them, they'll take like pictures of like the whole like gym together. Like there'll be like 15 people, 20 people, and they'll all take a picture. So it's like, hey, they're a whole team. So you could try to find one of those too if you're, and they're gonna open you with welcome open you with open arms. Welcome you with open arms. Yeah.
Well, how does it go?
Yeah. Yeah, there's one called New Body, Mind and Fitness in Fontana, California that I know of. And it's a
It's like
girl. I would like to get her on the podcast one day, actually. She's a business owner and her name's
she started
Sabrina.
it.
Huh? Yeah, her name's
All right.
Sabrina. And she's young, she's younger than us, and she has a really nice body. She works out. But it's all community. It's all female gym actually, because her whole purpose was they don't want no creeper guys looking at you and like trying to get at you. And all the females like
Ah,
empower each other. So there's lots of different things like that, and it's called New
that's kind of
Mind,
cool.
Body, and Fitness. And I want to get her on one day, but yeah, it's really cool. Like for the women I see there, and there's other gyms like that. But yeah, so it's there, and like they're all community, and they even have like other things too. Like they'll have little events like at nighttime or in the morning. Like, hey, we're gonna have this little event, so come down. Sometimes they'll talk about like they'll have sex events and they'll just talk about sex because like or like their periods or stuff like that, just things women talk about, and it gets them more involved in just the working out as well, and you become friends and stuff like that. So there's different things and like that. There's a one across the street from my house called Yoga Six, and there's that one is like a community thing too, and there's another one across the street too. I forgot what it's called, but the guy actually passed away. I forgot his name, but
Oh, damn.
yeah, he's all. I must have died from like, I think steroid use, but who knows? I can't think of the name now. But it's like a training one like that too. But yeah, just look for into that as well.
Yeah, a lot of people I feel like that use steroids have heart attacks. Almost, there was a guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it was like ZYZZ or something like that. But he had
Mm,
like a pose that every like a lot of people would emulate, and the guy was shredded, but
yeah.
he was like, I think he was in his 20s, had a heart attack. So
Oh,
everyone were like,
sad.
well, you're probably taking steroids. So
Yeah. Well, who knows what actually? But
pros and cons to everything. If you're going after this physique and you're taking crazy drugs, like
yeah,
there's a
I like to be
consequence
all
to it.
natural.
Yeah, same here. I would
I like to do things healthy
never
as
consider
possible.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, so We've been damn. Time's flying. It's already been like over an hour, I think.
Damn.
But yeah, so a lot of people ask how to lose weight, and I hope we got some tips in there. But yeah, basically, like I said, it's a lot easier said than done. Obviously, just eat well, exercise, get good sleep, don't stress that much, drink some water. I forgot what like that's pretty much what we said. Change your mindset, get an accountability partner, look for gyms that have group classes. What else? Positive thinking, read books, look at influencers, listen to this podcast, share this podcast.
Yeah,
And
that's the
those
one.
are the main things. That's how we lost weight. And but it takes dedication, takes will, takes consistency. It doesn't take free will. It takes paid for will. This isn't the will that's just free because we don't like free shit. We don't like cheap shit. We like shit that's earned, you know. So it's gonna take an earned will. You know, you have to go pay for it by going to the gym, by eating well.
Yeah. So it's like Andrew Tate says, he's like, the why people like a six pack and well, it doesn't really have a value behind it, but why people kind of like it and admire it is because it takes hard work to get. You can't sit around and then get a six pack unless maybe you're a 16-year-old and you're just skinny and
Yeah,
shredded no matter what.
still got that young
But
blood.
it takes hard work, so that's why you can admire it. Like nothing in life that comes easy is like valuable.
Yep,
And
that's
the
true.
stuff that takes hard work to get
What is
usually
most
has
valuable in life?
value.
And what is most valuable in life? Your life.
Your health.
So, it's gonna like nothing valuable, he said, Stephen just said, comes easy. So if you
Mhm.
want to live a long life, which is valuable, your life is valuable, it's not gonna come easy. You're gonna have to do the right things. So think about that. And with
Yeah.
that, anything else you'd like to put in
Yeah,
there?
I was just gonna say too, it's like, everything's hard. Like
Everything's hard.
going, yeah. I was gonna say, like going to the gym's hard, changing your diet's hard, changing your habits is hard, but having to go to a hospital and have all your loved ones there crying because you have some sort of ailment that you could have prevented is hard as well. So something to think about, like, pick the hard that you want. Like you have a choice right now to make a change and to better yourself. And the only thing that is stopping you is you. And you're gonna pay one way or another. You pay for the hard now, or you could pay for it later when you have some sort of sickness that you could have avoided.
Yep. Choose your heart, as they say. Like, oh my God,
Exactly.
it's so hard to lose weight. Well, it's a lot harder to
Of
have
course it
heart
is.
disease or have a heart attack and be in a wheelchair or have a stroke, It's a lot harder
Supposed to
to,
be hard. Supposed to be hard.
hard like go to like someone I think it was Stephen A. Smith, a pundit, a sports pundit. He said, if you really want motivation, just go to a hospital. Go to a hospital and walk
Uh,
around in there and an actual and just look at all the people. See the tubes that are in their throats, the tubes that are coming out of their stomach. And if you even want to go anymore, ask them or their family members if they're able to talk and willing to talk, what like how hard that is. Just go in there
yeah.
and it's like that should be all your motivation you need. Like,
Yeah.
I do not want to end up like that. And
I,
like a lot of people are blind to that because they don't see it on a daily basis. And maybe you can even go online and check a YouTube video. Go check a YouTube video. How how do people look in a hospital? Or something like that.
Yeah, I remember I heard Andrew Tate, he said something similar where he's basically like, oh, a lot of people like to complain that your life is hard, this, that, and the other thing. You don't appreciate shit that you got. It's like, go to a hospital and talk to a cancer patient that's dying about how hard your life is. And if you could get them to agree with you, I'll consider it. But until then, like, shut the fuck up and get to
Yeah,
work.
so true. Yeah,
But yeah,
so we're gonna end the podcast here. Yeah, so that's how we lost weight. If you are struggling with losing weight, I'm glad you listened to this podcast. Give it a like and share, subscribe. If you know somebody that's needs to lose weight or really trying to get into it, send them this podcast that could learn something, and especially a new beginner trying to do it. This is a perfect podcast for them to listen to. But yeah, share it with somebody, share it on social media, pay the dues. We're doing this, for free on our spare time, trying to help people out and trying to, we're into fitness, so we're trying to get people to get in it too. The more the merrier. And I know like it could save lives, definitely. Like by living a healthy lifestyle will save your life. And
yeah,
I wish my dad would have did it, at the end of the day. So
yeah,
yeah, share
same
it out.
here. I was actually talking to Valerie about that. I was like, I wonder like if my dad were still here today, because I was saying that he really didn't eat healthy. It's like if he didn't die from the alcohols. Like I wonder, like I wish he would have been around when I got older, so I could be like, no, you can't be eating like shit all
Yeah.
the time. Like,
That's
but
what I
then
do to my mom now.
at the same time, maybe I wouldn't be who I am. I was like, maybe I would be a 300-pound person, not giving a fuck if he were alive. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy with my life, even though, I have certain events that are tragic or whatever. I've kind of accepted them and they have made me the person I am today. So I'm happy.
You never know how the cards are going to play out either way.
Exactly.
And but my dad never had he never changed. He's dead. So he didn't have there's no chance of him
He's
changing.
dead.
There's no chance of him changing at all. He's gone.
Yeah.
Um, but my mom, she's still alive, and I try to tell her, like, I'm gonna go to Florida for Christmas vacation here coming up, and I'm gonna be like, hey, try to teach her my
Smackdown.
ways, try to teach her how I cook. Like this is how you gotta cook. Try to get something in her, because I told her, hey, 1 year, if you could last 1 year longer, that's worth it. Because if you died at six, she's 72. If you die at 75, I would be like, man, I wish I would have lived to 76 at least, yeah. So
Yeah, exactly.
and it will help you, even if you're older, it will definitely help you out. Like, because as soon as you start eating better and you start losing weight, your blood pressure, your artery walls start getting more relaxed. The blood starts pumping easier. That's less likely for you to have a heart attack, less likely for you to have a stroke. If you start eating more nutritious, no matter what, your body immediately starts using those nutrients in order to start fighting cancer cells and stuff like that. So it can prevent you from having these things and help you live longer. So there's
Yep.
never too late, but most people are listening to this podcast are probably going to be around their 30s or 40s. So it's definitely not too late for you. So there's no
Get on
excuses.
it.
Get up, get
Get
on it.
on
Yeah.
it. No
Get on it.
excuses.
All right.
So yeah, I guess we're gonna end it there. Thanks for listening, everyone. We appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully, we had some good information in here for you. Like,
Yes.
share, subscribe if you liked it. Share it with somebody who could benefit from hearing this information. And thanks again.
Keep living that whole life.
Keep living the whole life.
See you on the next one.